Good morning, everyone. I'm Rick, and this is Two Brothers Outdoors. Today, we are doing what I call the dump run. Since I'm not working anymore and I'm retired, I can no longer take my garbage to work and throw it in the dumpster at work. I have to make a dump run once every 2 weeks. Kind of sucks, but I have to do it. Gives me a chance to get out. Got a beautiful day today. It's 76 degrees. The humidity has dropped out of the air. I got a major decision to come up with. Do I find something to do up in the woods and around the house, or do I go fishing today? I'll figure that out when I get done with the dump run. I got my two compadres with me. I got Riley right there and Oscar right there. They're my buddies. They go on the dump runs with me. They enjoy the ride. Today I want to talk to you about some things that are bothering me just a little bit about the sawmill stuff, and we'll get to it in just a minute. Before we get into story time, let's just take a seat on this log right here in the shade where it's nice and cool. Oh yes, nothing like sitting under a nice shade tree with a little bit of breeze blowing on you. Feels really good. Now, I've been a sawyer for probably over 30 years. When I first got into this business, I didn't know anything about sawing, and I wanted to build a house, and I wanted to build it off the logs on my property. So I went down looking for a sawmill, and I just happened across this big, humongous, I mean, we're talking a mill that was over 60 feet long and 12 feet wide, commercial circular mill. Down the road from me, about 8 miles, there was a sawmill operation going at that time, and it was an older guy, and I used to buy lumber from him all the time. I built a barn and I built some sheds, and he was real convenient to go down and buy lumber from him, and it was all rough cut. We had quite a little business going on. All right, camera, stay in one spot, will you? For crying out loud. So anyway, this gentleman's name was Gordon, and he was about 82 years old at the time. And after I bought the sawmill and brought it home, I didn't even have a chance to set it up yet. I went down, told Gordon I bought a sawmill, asked him if he'd come up, take a look at it. And he said, absolutely. So Gordon came up here, he looked at the mill, and he's like, oh my God, he says, you have bought such an impressive piece of machinery. This is absolutely one of the best mills I've ever seen. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know what I had bought. I didn't know anything about sawmills except that they produced lumber from logs. Logs like this one I'm sitting on, and logs like those laying over there, and some logs laying over there. So anyway, I told Gordon, I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you think you can help me get this mill set up? And Gordon's like, sure. I'll be back tomorrow. You're going to need to lay some blocks down, and you're going to need to pour some footings, but we'll get together. I'll show you what you need to do, and then we'll get busy. So the next day, Gordon came up bright and early. We laid out the measurements where the mill was going to go, and he told me, he said, you need to dig a hole here, 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 and so forth. You need to go down at least 3 feet, and you're going to pour concrete footings in here. And then we're going to block the mill up because the mill was on a giant trailer. The mill had a 3-axle trailer under it. And I tell you, this was quite an awesome piece of machinery. I sold that mill 20 years ago, and the day it rolled out of here, I knew I made a mistake at that time, and I've regretted selling that mill ever since. And I've even actively tried to find that mill to see where it's at. I know last I heard it was in Pennsylvania, but I don't know whatever became of it. It's probably sitting on some Amish property right now, being used. Somebody got a fantastic mill. Excuse me for just a minute. We get these vines right here, and they grow into my apple trees, and if you let them live, they just absolutely destroy the tree. They overcome the tree, and the tree can't get any sun on the leaves, because these vines, they just grow and they take over the tree and they just weight it down. They'll break limbs off. They'll make it so it won't produce apples. Can't have that. So when I see them like this, I kill them. Can't believe that they've gotten away, because they just cut all these this spring. So at any rate, to make a long story real short, Gordon came up after I got the footings poured, helped me get the mill set up, helped me get the power plant hooked up. We ran the mill, and then he spent a week with me. I brought some logs out, and he spent a week with me teaching me how to run the sawmill. He says, you have the basics. He says, you're going to make mistakes. You'll learn from your mistakes. But he said, just be careful, have fun, and enjoy your sawmill. And that's exactly what I did. But my point here is I brought home a big commercial mill. There was another sawmill 8 miles down the road. He made his living off that sawmill. And he probably suspected sooner or later I was going to start selling lumber off of my mill as well. He didn't try to sabotage me. He didn't call me an idiot. He didn't refuse to help me. He didn't refuse to teach me. Instead, he took me under his wing, put his arm around my shoulder, and helped me get the mill up and running, and taught me how to run it. And as it turned out, it was quite a profitable business. But my point is, he could have sabotaged me. He could have refused to help me. He could have been upset that I bought a mill and set a mill up so close to his. But he didn't. He didn't balk 1 second at helping me. And that's the point I want to make today. In today's world, it wasn't like it was back then, where I had to find somebody that ran a sawmill to teach me how. Today's world, we have the internet. And on the internet is a absolute major highway of information. And there's a major access to all kinds of knowledgeable people, people that have the knowledge of running a sawmill for 30 years, like me. And I've noticed a trend here, and it really saddens me, because I think the trend really sucks. Now, out there is sawmill forums all over the place, and I'm a member of several of those forums. And you'll get somebody that buys a sawmill, or you'll get somebody that's looking to buy a sawmill, and everybody wants to start out at $5,000 or less. Okay, depending on what you want to do with the mill, $5,000, if you're just going to cut a few boards for yourself to build sheds, or you're a farmer and you're going to need a board occasionally to fix a barn or something, a mill under $5,000, hey, go for it. You'll use the snot out of it, you'll enjoy it, and if it isn't for you, then you could put it up for sale and get your money out of it pretty quick, because everybody getting into this doesn't want to spend more than $5,000. But now, if you're going to get into this and you're going to try to make a living off of it, you're going to want to spend more than $5,000. You're going to want to get into a mill that's not entry level. And when I say entry level, you can get into mills that are not entry level, that are not fully hydraulic, that cost a ton of money. You can get into a decent mill for $10,000, $9,000, if you get the proper mills. But the thing that disturbs me is you'll get people on these forums, and either they'll just have bought a mill and they have problems, like, my mill is cutting waves. Well, these band mills, if they're not set up properly, they will cut waves. They'll cut wood thicker on one end than the other. They can be very temperamental. Now, don't get me wrong, the big commercial mills can be also as well. My circular mill, I had to constantly tune that mill to keep it cutting straight. I had a go, no-go gauge, and when I was ripping off 2x6s, like every 10, 12 board, I had a go, no-go gauge. I'd check on one end and then the other end, and if it wasn't cutting within a 32nd of a tolerance, then I knew I had to start doing some adjustments. I was very fanatical about how accurate my lumber was, and that actually gave me a leg up on the Amish down the road that sold a lot of lumber. Theirs weren't as accurate as mine, so when people were going to plane the lumber, run it through a planer, they wanted it accurate, so they weren't taking a bunch of time to run it through a planer. But that's a whole nother story. But the thing that really aggravates me is you'll get somebody that gets on one of these forums, I bought blah, blah, blah mill, and it's not cutting straight. Well, instead of people getting on there to actually help them or try to figure out what's wrong, they just start shooting answers at them. Oh, your blade's dull. Oh, your blade's out of alignment. This is wrong. That's wrong. Instead of actually trying to get down to the basic problem, they just shoot a whole bunch of answers at them. And it could be that, and it could not be that. But try to diagnose it. If you're experienced, try to help the guy diagnose the problem and see if you can get him straightened out. Every wavy board does not mean you have a dull blade. And case in point, guy bought a brand new saw, brand new blade. He couldn't hit it to cut worth a snot. And of course, he got all the answers, including you have the wrong mill. You bought the wrong mill. You bought a piece of junk, blah, 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 blah. And it's always about, and that's the one thing that really aggravates me, is somebody is constantly condemning somebody else for buying the wrong sawmill. You need brand X, or you need brand Z, or you need this brand, that brand. Yes, I have a certain sawmill. So does Tim. We like this company. But you don't hear me bashing other mills, or you don't hear me out there telling you that's a piece of junk and that's a piece of junk and you shouldn't buy that. Oh, you screwed up. No. If you bought a mill, you bought a mill, and I'm going to try to help you to get it cut straight if I can. I'm not going to bash you for buying the wrong mill. At any rate, the one I just told you about, brand new mill, brand new blades, everybody's telling them dull blade, you're 2 sets out, this is wrong, that's wrong. Now I'm going to tell you what, my mill cuts accurately, Tim's mill cuts accurately. We've had very, 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 very little problems with it, almost no problems with it cutting waves. Yes, if the blade gets dull, we can tell that it's getting dull just by the way it's acting, and we change the blade out before we have problems. The mill being level, that is an absolute. Your track has to be level. But at any rate, it turns out the guy that had the brand new mill and the brand new blades that just weren't cutting worth a snot, he had the blades on backwards. He had the cutting edge going the wrong way. Of course, that's going to cause a problem. But after 150,000 wrong answers, somebody actually sat down and helped him diagnose it, take a picture of it, and told him, here, your blade's on backwards. You got it inverted somehow. Probably when he opened it up, it inverted itself, but got him straightened out, got him cutting. I had a guy that called me. He actually got a hold of me through YouTube. We put our email on YouTube. Got a hold of me. He bought a Harbor Freight mill, and he just couldn't get it to cut right. And he tried to ask on some of the forums to straighten it out, and he just got bashed. He got bashed horribly. You're an idiot. You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. You should have never got into sawmilling. You're a moron. I mean, I've actually saw the comments. You got the wrong mill. You should buy nothing from Harbor Freight. Blah, 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 blah. It even got political. I couldn't believe it. And the guy contacted me, and as it turns out, he was only 30 miles from me, so I took a day and went down to see him, and we got the mill cutting straight. I mean, there was a few issues, but it wasn't manufacturer issues. It was setting up issues. And it was just some issues that he did setting it up, but we got it cutting straight. Okay, that's not the mill for me, but for what he was going to do, the mill worked absolutely perfect for him. And my whole point in case here, or my whole case in point, or however you want to put that expression, don't bash people. Don't get on these forums like you know it all and just bash people and call them stupid, or throw an answer out there that you don't know for sure if it's right or wrong. Let's get on these forums and be Sawyers. Let's be Sawyers that are glad other people are getting into the business. Other people are getting into being Sawyers, because let's face it, hands-on craftsmen are dying out in this country. The younger generation, they're not interested in using their backs. They want to use their minds. And those type of jobs are flooded right now. The jobs that are open, the jobs that are paying great money if you want to get into it, are jobs using your hands and your back. And of course your mind. But I am very disappointed in all these forums and the people that just get on there and bash people constantly. And it seems to be the same groups, and it's just horrible. Don't bash people that are just getting into it. Don't bash people that are having problems with their mills, and don't bash people telling them they got the wrong mill and this is wrong and that's wrong. Let's get on there and try to help these people. They're coming on the forum to ask a question they don't know, and all of a sudden they're getting hit with all this negativity. It pisses me off, and I'm not even the one asking the questions. And do we screw up as 30-year Sawyers? Absolutely. Let me show you a picture of something I just did. That's right. I hit one of my log stops. I got in a hurry yesterday cutting some 2x4s. I had a customer that was in a hurry for some 2x4s. Threw a log on the mill, started ripping it up, and I forgot to put the log stops down. Duh. But that's a mistake. 30-year Sawyer made a mistake. It happens. So guys, when you get on these forums, let's try to be kind. Let's try to bring these people into our flock, help them out, help them cut good lumber, and help them get the machine straightened out if they're not cutting right. You got the wrong machine is not the answer. And calling them an idiot or a moron or stupid, that doesn't help anything either. That just frustrates people and makes them mad. And quite frankly, it makes me mad too. If you see somebody on a forum bashing somebody, straighten them out. Tell them, hey, what's your problem? If you can't get on here and be positive, don't be on here. Nobody wants to hear negative comments, especially me. All right, guys, that's my rant. And I think I'm going to go fishing. Maybe we'll have a few clips on this video of me catching some fish. What do you think? You interested? I got a new camera I want to try out, and it goes underwater too, and it goes underwater up to 135 meters. That's a long way down. But just for fun, the other day I stuck it on a selfie stick, stuck it down in the pond, and oh wow, look at all the wildlife in there. Camera worked great. I was very impressed. All right, guys, let's go fishing. If you see some clips on this of me catching some fish, you know we had a successful day. If not, until the next one, we will catch you later. And be kind to new Sawyers.